Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Saturday, September 5th. This is our Ask Our Anything show. If you're new to the channel, this is something I try to do every Saturday, 8 o'clock, where I open it up to YouTube Live and see what kind of questions we get. I do have a couple of seeded questions today. I actually didn't get any from the audience, but you know what? My mom came through. If you don't know, I think I've said it 3 or 4 times on the channel the last couple of years. One of my subscribers is actually my mom. How cool is that? She watches the channel, as you'll see in the questions, and she seeded us with 4 questions today, which we will review to get us started. Hopefully, this takes us 5, 8, 10 minutes. But what I'm hoping from you is you go ahead and ask your questions. I'm doing this from my computer, so the quality is a little bit lower than normal. But hopefully what that does is gives all of you time to put your questions in. And again, I like this because it allows us to go deeper. I sometimes miss the real question or crux of your question, so this allows us to go deeper. I like to do these on my computer because I have more real estate to control the comments. They don't just appear like they do on my phone. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm trying to generate 4 original pieces of content every day for the next 13 weeks. If you don't know what that is, I do goals every 13 weeks and I share them every Sunday. So here we go. This is one of the videos for Saturday, and this usually runs about 50 minutes or so. So also, if you can do me a favor, hit that like button. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm constantly reminded by how diligent Graham Stephan is in doing his. So question number 1. Again, it is funny. These are questions from my mom. I can't believe it. Number 1, with today's interview with Ronnie. Oh, by the way, Ronnie was an interview I did yesterday at 1:30, so it was probably posted by 3. She watched it yesterday. It was like 30 minutes long, I think. So it's just, I think it's really funny. Hi, Mom. How are you? Okay, sorry. With today's interview with Ronnie, the large asset manager. Yeah, Ronnie's nice enough to give us our time. He's a 9-figure asset manager, and as you'll see in that video, he's already seeing some cracks out there. But that was a good interview. Sorry, I digress. With today's interview with Ronnie, the large asset manager, what pain, if any, do you see coming for mom and pop landlords? That's a good question. Again, if you listen to Ronnie's interview, which you should, he was talking about first cracks were showing up in hospitality, hotels. He did say that he is expecting some pain in office, right? We talked about Pinterest cutting a nearly $90 million check to break a 10-year lease. He talked about some opportunities in Vegas, right? So he's starting to see. But really the crux of Ronnie's discussion as well, he may see some opportunities in December because of tax reasons, right? There may be people that want to let an asset go in December so they can claim it on their 2020 taxes as a loss. He says there may be some tax planning this year, but he expects most opportunities, most banks, most sellers, most bridge lenders, on and on and on, as you'll see in that 40-minute video, to really push the pain in the decisions until like April to August of next year. So that's where Ronnie and I talked. Now to the question, again, from my mom. It puts a smile on my face to say that, I guess. I don't know. But what about mom and pop? So if I'm thinking about Ronnie's interview specifically, I think there's a couple of things mom and pop investors could take. First, I think it was clear that there will be some cities that win and lose. There are some cities, we talked about Vegas specifically. We talked about New York specifically. We talked about Miami and Orlando, as I recall. And the talk was there's going to be acute pain likely in those places first. And I think many of those cities, I don't know Orlando or Miami at all, so I'll exclude those. But certainly Vegas, certainly San Francisco, certainly New York. I think mom and pop landlords in those cities are in for some pain. I think we're already seeing it. And at least in San Francisco and New York, rental rates are down double digits. Vacancies are up. Inventory is spiking in both markets. So I think the first thing is, and again, the K-shaped recovery is something we've been talking about for a long time. I think it applies to so many things that are going on. I think there are many, many big cities that will lose. And if you're a mom and pop investor in those markets, it's going to hurt for a while. And if you're a mom and pop investor who bought recently, it's probably really going to hurt for a while. But there is the other side. If you are a mom and pop investor in quote unquote the suburbs, if you're 2 to 4 hours from one of these major cities, like I am lucky enough to be in, just fortuitous, I think you are going to win and win huge. I think you're going to win on both sides. I think if you're in a suburb 2 to 4 hours from a major urban city, I think appreciation is going to be your friend, right? So if you already have assets, you're going to see 1, 2, possibly 3 years of double-digit appreciation. Oh, what happened? Oh, there we go. We're back. I don't know why it paused. So second, we are going to see rental rates appreciate. One of the things that I am talking about, I haven't heard others talk about yet, but we'll see if I'm right again. I think one of the things we're going to see is owner occupants absorb inventory, renters become owners. That's going to lower the quantity of affordable housing, and rents are going to go up. I think appreciation happens first, and I think rents go second. So I guess that's my first answer. Let me think of anything else. Mom and pop investors after Ronnie's interview. I think that's it. Winners and losers. I think that is going to be the case throughout. All right. So number 2, we have 4 to go through, and then I will go to the questions in the live chat. Keep the live chats going. I will scroll back to the very beginning and do them in order. And I will, of course, attempt to answer all of them like I do every week. So number 2, have you identified the main personality characteristic which you and other successful investors have, which new investors could develop? Example, repetitive tasks don't drive you up a wall, or maybe being emotionally distanced from your investments so the math works. Is there something you have naturally that could help a newbie? Wow, that's a meaty question. So I'm lucky enough to talk to, I have the expert series, which is 4 experts we talk to. We've been doing that for at least 6 months, if not 9, all successful investors, all frankly bigger than I am, which is such an honor to speak with them. I don't know if it's obvious, but Greg on Mondays, Matt Seamus when we can on Tuesdays, Anna on Wednesday, and Jonathan on Thursdays. They are all much, much bigger than I am. So for them to give us our time every week is just so awesome. So I appreciate them every time. But when I think about them, and if I'm lucky enough to put myself in that category, I think there's a couple of things. And all of them have realized that freedom or wealth takes time. I don't think of them, any of those 4, myself included, that was looking for the get rich quick, the easy button. I would also say that we seemingly were all focused on the next deal, right? We were focused on what was in front of us. We were guided by our expectations, our wants, our kind of North Star, but it was always about the next deal. I don't get the feeling that any of us were lost in the, I'm not growing fast enough, I can't do anything, oh, woe is me, the market's hot, I can't find a deal. No. 20 years of investing, most of us, if I include myself, the 5 of us, we've seen all kinds of markets. And you can either whine or bitch or whatever, or you just look somewhere else, right? One of the things that hopefully you've seen is with if one part of the market's hot, go somewhere else. Today, clean, lower priced homes are ridiculously hot. Go somewhere else. I see that. Certainly, I can't speak for the others. Certainly, as my mother kind of indicated there, I have a trait which means I can focus on what most people would see as monotonous and boring and drive you up a wall activities. And for whatever reason, my internal clock makes that activity like fun, and not like fun, like really fun. Just a personal story. Take it for what you want. My mother would tell you a story if you were ever sitting with her about, I think I was 5 or 6 as she tells the stories, and I'm piling up pennies, like pennies in rows. And I would pile them all up, rows of 10, rows of 5. I tried rows of 20 just cause. And then I would knock them down and do it again. I mean, can you imagine anything more monotonous? And I mean, I can't now. I mean, I think about that and I think it's crazy. But transition that to what I've done the last 20 years. Same zip codes, same search results every day, 10 to 15 minutes. That was like searching for gold for me. I never knew when the deal would pop up. I could go 45 days in a row with nothing, and I was totally okay. I felt like I accomplished something finding nothing because I knew I was one day closer to finding the next deal. And I'm afraid most people aren't willing to do that. Most people would see day 37 of nothing and want to throw their hands in the air. And I don't know what it is. I am certainly lucky to have that trait where I can just keep going. I mean, I was willing to, remember how I start my book? We talk about 52 weeks a year. We looked around the Bay Area for a home. That was our Sunday routine. How many people are willing to do that? It takes time. So I'm certainly, I would throw that is a unique trait that I don't think many have. But I would say overall, the investors that are on this channel, we have our North Star, but we're always on the next deal, I think is something. And also, I would tell you that the 4 rock stars that we have every week are just really solid, good people. So I think that helps, right? They're not out there cutting corners. They're not out there. I guess they're out there knowing their reputation matters. They're not going to shortcut it. That's what I think. Number 3, besides looking at your market every day, what should newbies focus on besides developing their network? Can you tell that my mom actually watches this channel? I mean, like, really good questions, Mom. Like maybe developing their math skills, vocabulary, public speaking, or maybe personal family development so more people will understand the road to success. Is this time where great deals are few? What could the investor do to improve? Wow, lots there. So I'm going to break this down into, I think, kind of A, B, and C questions because there's so much there. So again, newbie investors, right? Somebody who doesn't have 0, maybe just has 1. Your number one thing is to look at your market. Look at your market. Look at your market. It should only take you 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes to do it. You need to get to the point where you have a pulse. It like feels like you're in it, right? There's a current and you're in the boat, right? You're understanding what's going on. That's where you need to get to, and that just takes time. I've not seen anybody do that well in under 60 to 90 days. I would say that if you could, this is the time. The market is the current and the change of the market is fast as I've ever seen. So this is, for most people, is probably the best time to learn because it'll smack you in the face. Then network. Again, if the best thing to do if you're a new investor is I created a playlist called the 75-Day Hard Challenge for Real Estate Investors. It's 100% free. Don't sell anything, blah, blah, blah. Go check that out. There's 8 tasks that you should do if you're really serious. They're hard, hence the name. I certainly stole this idea from the 75-Day Hard Physical Challenge by Andy Ferretta, I think. Andy something. But if you want to get started and don't have any money, go take the challenge. Then the kind of B question, like maybe developing math skills, vocabulary, public speaking. The math skills involved with what I teach are really arithmetic. It's not algebra, and it's certainly not calculus. I would hope most folks understand addition and subtraction, and there is a division. If you don't understand addition, subtraction, and division, maybe multiplication slightly, do that. I'm going to hope you have that. But I am a big believer of public speaking. The best class, I mean, I have a master's degree, which means I have 6 years of college education. The only class that made me six figures is public speaking. I was a introvert growing up. I would be comfortable talking to myself in my head for days without talking to people. But public speaking really helped. So that's one I think everybody, I don't know, everybody's a stretch. I hate everybody, every time, all those statements. I think most people should take. And then my mom goes on to talk about personal family development, such as more people understand the road to success. If you don't know, my mom's big on the family unit. She's big on home ownership. Probably where I get it from. Well, let's not say probably. It is where I get it from. I would say more people need to talk about money. That's for sure. Money / investing. I think, again, Mom, not to throw our dirty laundry out there, but in the beginning, right when I was foreign-born teenager, money was only talked when we didn't have any. That wasn't any fun. Money was to be spent. We didn't talk about investing. Why? This is so crazy. I don't think I've ever shared this. I wanted two things in my early 20s, right? When I was in college, for whatever reason. Why these two things? I have no idea. But I had two things that were going to be measures of success. They're going to say, I made it. They're stupid, but they're true. One was I had to own a gold coin. I don't know why. And there's only one. It wasn't like I had to have 10. I thought if I ever had a gold coin, that means I was rich. Don't ask me why. It was it. That was true. And the other thing, again, really stupid, but still true, was a Rolex watch. I don't know why, but those were signs of wealth. And I thought if I could ever scrape together the money to get those, that I would be wealthy. I think that needs to change. I would like to see people in their early 20s think like, I need to have $10,000 in an investment account. I need to, I don't know. I don't even care if it's own an index fund. I don't care if we got to change it, right? The fact that I spent thousands of dollars on a watch is so stupid. It was gold and shiny and had diamonds in the freaking face. Dumb, just dumb. The gold coin I still own. It's in the safe deposit box. But doesn't produce interest, doesn't depreciate. I don't even look at it anymore. I assume it's in my will, right? It goes to someone when I die. I'll probably never see it again. I don't know. We need to change. We do need to talk about money and investing more. That's something I would like us to see. All right. Number 4, describe the best and worst scenario we can have coming out of all of this and how to benefit in both. Oh, geez. So I'm going to assume this question is about the political environment, the health crisis we're in. My mom's a night owl and I'm up in the morning, so we have not talked. She sent this at what time did she send this? 1 a.m. or something. So I don't know that for sure, but that's how I'm going to take this question. I think the worst case scenario is pretty scary, actually. I'm probably going to do a video on this later called Black Swan or something like that. But we have seemingly gone down a path where violence begets more violence. And stop. Let's just stop. Both sides, everybody, left, right, stop. When did the middle stop being cool? Why does everybody have to go to so freaking extremes? Very disappointing. Both sides. Both sides. The fact that we have recently seen violence beget more violence, death beget more death. Both sides, not okay. The greatest fear I've had as of this morning, and again, I'll probably do a video on it later, and if I'm not emotionally right, it may be tomorrow. But I envision we could potentially lose thousands of lives around an election. The election could be disputed, and both sides could take it as an opportunity to take up arms and shoot at each other. That's the worst case scenario. Americans shooting Americans. Not okay. Not okay. That's the worst case scenario. That's horrible. And for the first time in my life, I have to think that that is a possible scenario. That the environment we are in together, this is America, has gotten so toxic that for whatever reason, the left and the right think they can shoot at each other and get away with it. When did that become okay? So that's the worst case scenario. I can't imagine anything worse. That's the worst black swan I've ever thought was possible. So let's get the worst case scenario out of the way. On the good side, the good side of this is our economy comes raging back February, March, April, which right now I tell you is more likely than the other, which is, I guess, a good thing. But I'm not sure it's exponentially more likely. I think there's a very good chance that 2021 goes down as a pretty good year, and 2022 goes down as even a better year. I think this year is going to suck. It's just 2020 is going to go down as the worst. Let me say this. I hope 2020 goes down as the worst year of my life. I'm going to love getting this year behind me because it's almost over. It's September, thank God. So, yeah, I think it's possible that the American economy, the capitalism. I think we're going to have some destruction, creative destruction. People, I think there's a bunch of billionaires that are going to lose. What most people don't realize is when we talk about hospitality, we talk about office buildings, we talk about retail being repriced. That doesn't affect you and I, for the most part. There's going to be billionaires and millionaires taking haircuts, big haircuts, massive haircuts. But that'll just set a floor, and we'll just start this great engine again. The American economy, when we're not shooting each other, is an amazing thing to watch. Go back to my daily show this morning. The K-shaped recovery is real, but just because you're on the bottom of the K doesn't mean you can't get on top of the K. I was there. If you look at my history and all the great things that were sitting in front of me, I was a 19-year-old guy who decided to get married, who at the time didn't have a college education, I was not set up for success, right? I had, at 19, I think I had 2 jobs. Wasn't set up for success. My life could have gone one direction. I took personal responsibility, kept taking it for years and years to come, made lots of stupid mistakes, and, the path was different. So, yeah, that's a meaty question. Thanks, Mom. Thanks for your time. All right, now let me scroll back and see where we got to all these questions. Let's see. Thank you for that. Let's see how we do. Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Tamika. Thank you for coming. Yes, Tamika, my mom's pretty awesome. It is. I think it makes me smile when she sends me stuff. Tamika, have you changed your recommendation to new investors? Don't make any offers for during these crazy times. I don't know that I would say not make any offers, Tamika. I think you make offers that make sense. I'm still making offers. I haven't gotten a counter in like 2 months. But I think you still have to make offers in this market. Never stop making offers. You got to stay engaged. And what will happen is at some point, like you'll do this, Tamika, for the next 2 months, no counters. And then all of a sudden somebody will counter. And then that will be a signal that maybe the market is changing. It might be a unique situation, but you want to be front and center when this market changes. So no, keep making offers, but only offers that make sense. And be ready to write a lot of offers that don't get countered. So I never said stop making offers, but always know your numbers. Cheesy Buff 1. It seems that good renters will be difficult to find. How do you find good renter? I don't, first off, Cheesy, I don't know where you are. So maybe there's some local things that I don't know. But in the Fresno market, it's not hard to find good renters at all. In this, let's be clear. And I've said this a couple of times, but I probably should say it here as well. Lots of landlords out there talk about tenants playing games, not paying rent, all of those horrible things. And I've shared with you in one video where I have a couple of tenants that are playing that game. But I take responsibility for saying yes to that tenant. Landlords need to have a very tight box and do all they can to weed out professional tenants. I have 95 to 98% of my tenants are wonderful people, hardworking, want a safe, secure place to raise their family. And that never changes. There are always people that need to rent. They can't save up, or they're not mobile, or they don't have credit, or whatever. I actually think there'll be less rental units going forward, which means you can, find good tenants. The problem is you may have to weed through some professional tenants. So I would tell you to get a very tight box of yes answers. And when you have a tight box, you're not racially or income, or you're not discriminating, because everybody goes through the same box, right? We send every application through the same tight box, and we just say yes to the first person that qualifies, all of them. And that's pretty good. Of the hundreds of tenants we've had, thousands over the years, I have 2 horror stories, which ain't bad, which, oh, by the way, one of them was the first one, which you've all heard about. But only one since then, because we've gotten increasingly tight on our box. So I don't buy it's hard to find good renters. I will say it's harder to find renters for apartments today, and maybe that's where you are, Cheesy. Houses are renting like hotcakes. I have never seen houses rent so fast. But apartments that are close together, C-class, those are taking a lot of time. All right. Faraj. Hopefully I said that correct. Hey, Michael, currently analyzing whether it makes sense to build 2 to 4 units. That's cool. Cheaper housing, really nice areas. Okay. Sounds like fun. Run the numbers. The thoughts on this? If you would approach this, what would you look for out there? Land, development costs, definitely. So first and foremost, Faraj, I've never done ground up development. I've interviewed a couple of people that have. There's a couple in Canada that's all they do. I will send me a comment or something after this, so I remember. I'll try to make an introduction to them. That's all they build is duplexes, and I think it's duplexes in Canada, and they're doing great things. I think it's a good idea. I think build for rent is a huge market. I think Blackstone is actually entering build for rent. So if it's good enough for Blackstone, it's good enough for us. I've never done it, so I don't know the loopholes. I know ground up development in California is stupid expensive, so I'll never do it. Ground up development, for me, the timeline is too long. So again, Viraj, I don't know where you are. I wouldn't do it in California. Wouldn't do it in California. I like to be in and out of stuff. The market is hot, crazy hot, where doing ground up development today could look really, really good. Probably okay, but it's too long. Not sure. But I can make an introduction, Viraj, if you send me a note after this, so I remember. Hey, Gil, what drove you to keep moving forward? Dude, I wish I could tell you. It's it's probably an undiagnosed mental condition. Probably. Once I seek my mind to something, it sort of becomes the thing. And again, as I said earlier with the stupid pennies, where most people look at that and are either bored or frustrated immediately, for me, it was exhilarating and fun. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I was in my own little world, probably because I was an introvert back then. I was architecting a future, and this money was exploding in value. And oh, by the way, how fast could I do it? And how straight could they? I mean, everything was an internal competition for me. I can't explain it. It's I'm sure it's some kind of undocumented psychological thing, and it is something that I love, appreciate, and realize annoys people. Because if you were ever to talk to Olivia, she would probably tell you I get too laser focused on some things, and she sees it coming a mile away, and she just lets me go. I don't know. I wish I could explain it. Hello, or love from India. Love from, what would you say? My office in Mountain View. How would I say that? Fariki Gaming. How you doing? Anthony, learning my area of interest as you suggest. I'm finding the price ranges I'm looking at have very slow appreciation. Cash flow is decent though. Would you suggest I look further away for a home? Anthony, I don't ever include appreciation in any of my calculations. I can't spend appreciation. I've seen appreciation go the other way. Decent cash flow is decent cash flow. So Anthony, what your job to do in your market is to learn what average is. And I'm just going to make this up. If your average yield is 8%, in my opinion, you need to go buy 9s and 10s. Simple. Now, if your average is 6, you need to go buy 7s and 8s. I don't give a rat's ass about appreciation. Yes, it happens. Yes, it's fun to talk about. Yes, it has made me a millionaire. Yes, yes, yes. I don't care. I only buy stuff with the inkling of holding it forever and it producing cash flow for me to live on. So hopefully that helps. So just a real quick, I don't normally do this, but we got 41 people watching and 10 thumbs up. What's up with that? We've been talking for 32 minutes. All right, so hit the thumbs up. What's next? Joey, how you doing, Joey? Doing 10 years and billions of dollars worth of rebuilding in an area such as downtown Brooklyn, it's hard to imagine all the big players losing. Well, so let me read that again, Joey. Could you really see politics rise in crime, etc., 10 years and billions of dollars worth of rebuilding in an area such as Brooklyn? So first off, I maybe in my rant on question number 4, I may have painted a darker picture than maybe you're thinking. So first off, going back to that, yes, I could see, again, I don't think it's likely. I don't think it's likely, but it is something for the first time in my life I have to think about. I think we're about to have a national election that could lead to the left and the right shooting each other. I don't know what else to say, which is just Americans doing that is unfathomable. But I don't think it undoes 10 years of development and building in places like Brooklyn. It will be flashpoints and there will be windows broken. There will be, again, if it happens, there'll be hundreds and potentially thousands of people that lose their life. But my hope is if it went that directions, it would be, God, days or weeks and we'd finally get control of ourselves. But I don't think it destroys cities like great cities like Brooklyn. I don't think Seattle gets destroyed. I don't think Portland gets destroyed. I'm just picking cities that are in the news, not trying to, push one side or the other. But no, I think these great cities live in great states that live in a great country. So I don't think it undoes 10 years of anything. I think it could be pretty dangerous, though. There'll be nights, sirens, and I mean, again, I don't think it's likely. But the fact that I have to think about it as a worst case scenario, God, how sad. Just how sad. So hopefully, Joey, that makes sense. If I missed your question, ask again. Oops, where are we? Oh, where are we? Joey, okay. The real crime is the violation of informed consent. Okay. Dax and Powell, hi. Good morning, Michael. We have some land in the Philippines. We are thinking about building a fourplex to get started. It would cost around $75K and rent for $200, so $800. So Dax and Powell, what I would tell you, what I teach in one rental at a time is a worldwide rule. So what I would tell you in the Philippines is, yeah, those numbers sound good, but what else could you do with $75K in the Philippines? As an example, again, I know nothing about the Philippines. But for example, could I buy a fourplex for 60K that rents for $200 a unit? I don't know. Can I? Right. The whole idea with what I teach is understand what is average. So Dax and Pau, your job is to figure out what is the average return in the Philippines, and not Philippines, the country, but the city or town or wherever you call it in the Philippines. You plan to build a fourplex. Figure out what average is. Every market has an average. Once you know average, only do good or great. There you go. So I can't answer it. I don't know the Philippines. But for example, if you could build a fourplex for 75K, and just again to be extreme, say every other fourplex is 200 grand and still rents for $200 a unit or 800. If true, then by all means, the numbers say build. That's what you have to answer, and that's not what's in your question. So go figure out what average is. And if your model beats that, do that. The American economy, when we're not shooting at each other, is an amazing thing. That's funny. Oh, you're too funny. I'm amazed at Las Vegas home sellers dropping their prices down as much as 30% for all cash at close, instead of accepting creative offers on payment terms for asking price. Yeah, Las Vegas is interesting. That's an interesting. There's something there, right? So first off, that's the first I've heard of it. I've not seen that, heard that, whatever. Everything I hear about Vegas, at least as of last month, is crazy, stupid, right? 328 median price. But that's interesting. What would that mean? So I'm an owner. I'm in $1 million home, because I'm going to guess these are high-end homes, just knowing our past communications. So let's assume it's $1 million home. I take a 700K cash offer to get out instead of a creative offer that allows me to get away. But I don't take that haircut. Wonder what that means. I guess that means you're afraid. That's really what that means. You don't want, I guess what that means is the seller doesn't want to be on the hook long term. I'm guessing that's what that means. But there's something there. I mean, if that becomes a trend in Vegas and other markets, that'll be something to watch. I've not seen that yet, but if that happens, it's something to watch for sure. Tamika, got it. So far, I've been outbid on my offers. Awesome. Tamika, the fact that you've been outbid is a good thing. Congratulate yourself. You know your numbers. Only do things that make sense. I have been outbid on 75, 80, 90 homes. I don't even count anymore. It's okay. It's just part of the process. Just like I told you earlier, when I was telling my stupid story about pennies and looking every day for 47 days straight. Every offer I put out there that gets outbid, I am one step closer to a yes answer. I don't know why my mind works that way. I don't know why I'm so lucky to see that is fun. Most people think it's frustrating. I'm very lucky, but congratulations. It'll eventually go your direction. I believe the dam will break eventually. Yeah, bet your butt it will. Congratulations. And your reserves increase. Score. Tamika, you're awesome. That's exactly what everybody should think. I should cut and paste that and put that out in a quote. Good job. What do we got? I'm sorry. Tamika got it. Yep. Adam, what do we do? Okay, I got time. Was it you who mentioned buying weird houses, like not the normal 3-2, but 1-1 or 2-1? Do you like that strategy, new investors? Adam, yes, I have said that. I like buying good or great deals. I have bought houses as small as 480 square feet. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, 70 years old, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, set off the street so it looks stupid compared to everything else. I don't care. I want the best yield. Yes. My best investments of late have been 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,200 square feet, because I can buy those as 2s and rent them as 3s. Now the layout has to work. I change internal configurations, not external, meaning I add walls and a door to create the 3rd bedroom. But yes, of course, I have no problem buying weird houses. If I get a discount, but it rents for the same, phew, amen. And especially in a hot market. You know who doesn't want 1-bedroom, 1-bath homes? Buyers today. Where do you want to fish? Do you want to fish in a lake where you have owner occupants who 3.5% down FHA loans? Or do you want to fish where none of them are? I know where I want to fish. Yes, that is me. I think it's a good strategy for everyone. Again, one rental at a time. Know your market, learn your market, do the work. It takes time. Folks, I created that course because it's just how I did it. Gil, motivated by acquiring money, or are you motivated simply by winning? That's exciting. I was never, well, let's be clear. I was never motivated by money. I like winning. I don't. I like competing. If I lose, but I know I gave it everything I had, I live with the results. I've lost lots of times in my life. I was a decent athlete, but I was nothing to write home about. I would lose half the time, easy. But I never gave less than 100%. I like competing. I like seeing where I stand. Like one of the things I put out on Instagram is some of the workouts I do. I compete with myself all the time. It's fun for me. It's one of the reasons I don't like going to the gym and doing the old, 3 sets of 10, blah, blah, blah. And CrossFit kind of speaks to me is because it's got that competitive sign. There's a clock involved. There's reps and counts, and it's just who I am. And as far as money goes, it wasn't money per se. Because if it was money per se, I would have stayed as an individual sales rep. It's much more upside as an individual sales rep. For me, it was freedom and time, right? The ability to make my own choices. That was a big deal for me. Tamika, sadly, some people on both sides seem to want riots and shootings in the streets. It needs to stop. Yes. And man, the momentum right now is the wrong freaking way. I'm a big believer in momentum. And right now, I've seen posts recommending violence. Let's arm ourselves and go take people out. I mean, come on. When this is not Iraq. It's not Afghanistan. This is America, people. What the hell? When did that become okay? Both sides. Both sides, you suck. Hi, the Jedi Bunny. Oh, that's a good name. The Jedi Bunny. Question: is 2020 a good year to start investing in residential real estate with excellent credit, good savings? It's a good time to learn your market. The best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. Today, you're going to learn a market. It's changing right in front of you. Today is absolutely the best time to learn your market. I would not say it's the best time to probably add stuff unless you learn your market. You need to spend your time between November 5th and December 31st learning your market. Learning today is the best time because it's changing right in front of you. Yeah, learn your market, learn your market, learn your market. It's the most common thing I say. Look at that. Ultimate bargains for the win. Once you know what's average is, only do good or great. Yep, exactly right. What do we do? Where'd I go? Do you ever feel an attempt to be financially free or frugal that you may be too frugal and not been able to enjoy the money you have? Yes. AG gets fit. Absolutely. One of my greatest sins that I actually document in this book is I didn't celebrate the small victories along our journey. Absolutely. I leaned forward, only looked at the next deal, never looked back. I didn't celebrate enough. I'm still frugal today. I mean, if you look at my goals spreadsheet, I give myself $500 for 13 weeks to spend on stupid shit. For a guy, I mean, I have a lot more than that, but that's all I give myself, $500, and I track it and I tell you when I spend it. Yeah, I'm frugal. But enjoying life doesn't mean you have to spend money. Like, one of the things I talk about in the book is we could have just bought a $10 or $20 bottle of wine, but having the moment to celebrate, I did not do that. We could have gone to the beach and stuck our toes in the water. We could have done lots of things in the beginning. Now we have money and we could do lots of nicer things. But yeah, I frankly still, AG gets fit. I'm still struggling with that today, frankly. Tamika, damn spell check. I must have missed the misspelling, but apparently I got it. Ultimate bargain. Sellers want to break all. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's when you talked about your 30% less for cash. They want to break all ties. You're right. Yeah, they just went out. Yes, creative. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch because what happened is, Jeffrey, is that strategy of taking 30% left to get away works great when you have equity. It frankly is the only time that works. What we are likely going to enter, Jeffrey, as you know, next year is people are going to have 8, 10, 12% equity. It's really not going to have that flexibility to take big price cuts, right? They maybe have 2 or 3 points because they still got to pay transaction costs. So as you know, keep at it, keep going. It'll break your way. Right now, you're running into the people that have options and have money. You know it'll get better. It's going to get better for you. You've done this lots of times. Glenn Becker, how you doing? My friend sold his house full ass cash in Somerville, Las Vegas. Yep. Yeah, that's happening. I mean, look at the numbers. I talked to Brian Lebo. I probably should talk to him again because August just finished. But yeah, lots of people are selling for full asking. And over asking. It's crazy. I don't know how Vegas goes from 325 to 328 when they have 20% unemployment. As my interview with Ronnie yesterday showed, Vegas is going to break, and it's going to break. It's going to break. It just has to break. Where are we? Did I scroll down? Where'd it go? GOG. Hello, Mike. I specialize in wholesaling. Thankfully, do exceptionally well. And now it's time to build passive income. I discovered you. Curious, why not invest in multifamily versus single family homes? I invest in all of that. I invest in the best deal that's available. I tell you to learn your market and buy the best deal. I think Geo, again, just we've never met, never spoke. I'm going to just internalize based on this question. You think bigger is better. And I own that shit, and bigger is not always better. Frankly, C-class apartments in close proximity today are some of the worst things to own. So learn your market, figure out what an average deal is, and do the best deal. And hint, more units doesn't always equal the best deal. Sellers are willing to do because they're ongoing. Yep. Okay. If you have a strong equity, third party buyer. Got it. Again, Michael, I would tell you this recession is going to once again prove that C-class apartments are the hardest thing to own. If you bought a C-class property in the last couple of years at a cap rate that was so compressed, watch out. I am very happy I sold my stuff, as all of you know, in 2000, or not all of them. I sold 50 units in 2019 of that stuff. I am very, very happy. I would say for a new investor, Michael, and I don't know if you have some or not, C-class is not a place to start. But if you can get a C-class property for 20 cents on the dollar, like I bought in 2010, you got a lot of room for margin of safety. So, but yeah, I think reading between the lines, I don't think I would start with C-class units. But again, A-class. The problem with A-class is that is the most mobile and financially available, and they can go buy. And that's, I think A-class, I think C-class will be the worst, but I think A-class will see the largest drop in rents, my opinion. Life is not a destination. It's a journey. Be sure to stop. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yep. Yeah, Layla, to your point, you have only one. So I have, I don't know what it is. So let's just say over 150 units. I actually don't count. I think I have 2 people playing games now. I've had one playing games since March. One playing, and then one started, I think, in June. And I do think they're playing. But the other thing to say about C-class rentals, I guess I didn't say earlier, but I'll bring it up because Layla kind of highlights it. I collect about, let's call it 30% of my rents on the first from Section 8. Maybe it's 32%. It just shows up. Pretty cool. Section 8 rentals. Section 8 rentals generally are in C-class. They don't have to be, but generally are. Yep. JMS. Oops, where we go? I have a condo in Walnut Creek on the market a week, struggling to find a price point. It's a 3-bedroom bath condo, floor raised. JMS, I think the Bay Area is in for a price adjustment. Sounds like you're selling based on your question versus renting. I have a condo in Walnut Creek that I put on the market in a week. So you will put on the market in a week. Okay, got it. Struggling to find a price point. Okay, now I understand. I misread your question. It's a 2-bath condo on the first floor raised of a 3-story building. I'm not really sure what to do with that question. JMS, there's got to be more to that question that I don't understand. If you haven't put it on the market, yes, you will put it on the market. List it. See what happens. You'll get instant feedback in 7 days. The Jedi Bunny. Question about learning your market. What is the best way to learn your market? How would you start? I would buy my $199 course. There are actually people on this video who have bought it and rave about it. That course gets you in my group, gets you in my Facebook group. It is the best way. I don't know any other way than to do your homework. And that's what my course is about. Smacks you right in the face. Step 1. Buy the course. Again, JMS, I don't know Walnut Creek. I don't know your situation. List it for more than the 1-1s and see what happens. Okay, you got it. Geo, no. I own 5 or 6 10-unit buildings under one roof. And the logic that says one roof is better than 10 roofs is so only part of the story, it's not even funny. Do you know how frequently people move in a 10-unit building when they live close to each other? They move about every 2 years. Do you know how people move in a house? Once every 10 years. Actually, it's once every 8.5 years. Unit turns kill landlords. To think that having one roof is better than 10 roofs is so only part of the story. Managing a 10-unit building is far more expensive than houses. You as a landlord take on so much more costs: electricity, water, parking, lawn care. No bullshit on social media. Run the numbers. I do live stream I have done them every Saturday, so there's actually a playlist you can go back to. I reserve the rights to do these. Usually I do them every Saturday at 8 if I do them. I decide during the week because, again, it's my time. But I talk to my students every Saturday at 9 a.m., and that's my alarm that tells me I need to shut this down. So, folks, I'm going to shut this down. I need to get ready for my students here in about 5 minutes. I'm sorry if I didn't get to your question. I almost got them all. Oh, look at that. The course is awesome. Thank you. Okay. All right, everybody. I appreciate you. I probably will do this again next Saturday. Let's be real. I enjoy these. These are fun for me. They just are. I don't know why. It's back to that crazy psychological illness I have. Take care, everyone. I got to get some coffee and get ready for my Facebook group and my students. Bye.